Hello and welcome to the most serious crypto news of the past day. The current price of Bitcoin is $66,150, and as you can see, despite yesterday's whales purchases, the price continues to fall but still remains above $65,000. The situation on Ethereum is slightly better despite the fact that the price is $1,920. A bunny pattern has formed on the chart and bunnies are known to jump. And now let's get to the news. OpenAI and Paradigm launched EVA Bench to test AI on crypto smart contract security. Great news to warm up your brain. So imagine, while we're wondering if Bitcoin will drop to 10K or not, the AI is already learning how to rob us. Well, to protect us. In general, OpenAI, those who have ChatGPT, and the Paradigm Crypto Investment Fund, those with money, they teamed up and launched EVM Bench platform. This is a test sandbox where neural network learns to find holes in smart contracts, as if to fix them and, withdraw money for themselves, as it turns out. The results are already impressive, so AI successfully robs contracts in 72% cases. Just 6 months ago, the regular GPT-5 could handle only 32%. Progress is evident, so OpenAI, of course, they state that this is all for the sake of protecting and monitoring risks and even allocated $10 million in research grants. But personally, I feel a little uneasy now. This Polymarket account has bet $65,000 that US will attack Iran by the end of this month. So this user X, under the nickname Symbiote, discovered, to put it mildly, an interesting account on Polymarket. A certain Megamaiman is betting on the conflict between Israel and Iran, and he has already raised $246,000 on these bets. He also placed bets on other events like Bitcoin price forecast, but given the fact that his average bets on those did not exceed $5,000, while he puts $10,000 and sometimes $100,000 on Israel-Iranian conflict, it seems that he owns insider information, and the rest of the bets are just for show. The scary thing is that he currently has 3 bets open for US strike on Iran by February, March, and June in the amount of $180,000. Ish. It's also interesting that yesterday, as soon as the fuss started around the account and thousands of players started copying his positions, he opened a new one for $260,000 that there will be no strike in February. And now it remains to be seen whether he received a threat from his superiors for insider information or whether the strike was still planned but decided to be postponed for later. Bitcoin's short-term Sharpe ratio just hit a level historically reserved for generational buying zones, and it seems we have a real reason for cautious optimism, and its name is the Sharpe ratio. In a nutshell, the smart guys from CryptoQuant, they have looked at the charts and said that basically there is nowhere else to fall, and the short-term Sharpe ratio for Bitcoin collapsed to minus 38.38. This is not just a bad thing. This is a level that historically happens only at the very bottom, from which a rise to new heights follows. Remember 2015, 2019, and the end of 2022. It's the same everywhere. And after such an extreme drop, the Bitcoin immediately recovered, and the logic here is simple. So when the indicators show the maximum loss per unit of volatility, it means that the anxious people have left the game and only the serious guys remain. And there is simply no one to sell further. Also, the Bollinger Bands for short-term holders, those who bought coins less than 55 days ago, are now wider than during the bottom of 2018. And this means that the weak hands are now in deep red, and most likely they have already left. And long-term whales, on the contrary, after 6 months of fails since mid-January, they began quietly accumulating coins around to 62 to 68K again. And of course, no one canceled the macroeconomic shock. And of course, no one gives guarantees. But given the latest news about the massive purchases of whales, this may indeed be true. Ethereum Foundation unveils ambitious 2026 protocol roadmap, scaling security and quantum readiness. And Ethereum, you can have a portion of official optimism from Ethereum Foundation. While the Bitcoin is trying to find the bottom in terms of Sharpe ratio, Buterin and the company decided not to waste any time and rolled out a development plan for 2026. The three pillars on which everything will go are scaling, user convenience, and suddenly the protection of the base layer. Yes, they are finally officially recognizing that the base layer also needs to be protected and not just to brag about L2. And here are the three main points. Firstly, the gas limit in L1 will be raised to 100 million and above in order to speed up the network significantly. Secondly, a hard fork is being prepared, which is Glamsterdam that is, to the built-in PBS mechanism, and even more blob objects will be delivered there. And thirdly, the obstruction of accounts will become native in order to finally forget about the seed phrases and freaking ECDSA, which are subjects to quantum threats. So in short, the plans are big, and all that remains is to wait for all of this to be realized before the Ethereum drops to $1,000. American crypto holders are scared and confused about this year's new IRS tax rules. In general, starting in 2026, a new 1099 DA form will be introduced with a cheerful title, Income from Digital Assets Received from Fraud Brokerage Transactions. And now, all licensed exchangers like Coinbase will regularly knock on each client and ask them how much you bought, how much you sold, and how much you earned. And manual entry of numbers into declaration is becoming a thing of the past, and it replaced by total and automatic surveillance. And the main pain is not even the fact that IRS now knows everything. The problem is that the form, according to the founder of Awaken Tax, Andrew Duca, is a crude tool created by basically lawmakers who do not understand anything about the crypt. Exchanges provide only general information about the sales, but the cost of the assets and all sorts of tricky DeFi strategies will have to be provided by the taxpayer himself throughout Form 8949. In general, if you thought that the crypt is anonymous and decentralized, then the IRS with 1099 DA form is coming for your ass. Well, great news for dessert to finish off the day on a positive, although a bit strange note. Who would have thought that in the world of crypto, where hackers usually just disappear with money forever, a happy ending in Korean would suddenly happen? So, as you remember, the Gwangju District Prosecutor's Office in South Korea lost 320.88 bitcoins from its own confiscated storage in August of 2025. And government agencies that are supposed to protect criminal assets have themselves become victims of phishing attack. And the funniest thing happened this week after it became known about the loss of another 30 bitcoins, which we talked about a couple of days ago. And we, in general, like everybody in the world, decided that it was simply unrealistic to lose bitcoins so systematically, and most likely the employees themselves were stealing them. And I don't know if they got in trouble or if the real hackers felt sorry for naive cops, but an unknown hacker returned all 320 bitcoins back to the official wallet of the authorities, and now those bitcoins are worth about $21.3 million, and they are already safely stored in a cold wallet. Let's see how long they stay there this time. And that's going to be all the news for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.